Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle and I talk books. I'm going to switch things up a little bit this week. I'm going to talk about the books that I read this week and which ones made it to chapter 2. A lot of books, but not every book I read gets me to chapter 2. It just doesn't. I have too many books, and if you can't get me into chapter 2, I'm just going to tell you what I read, and I'm going to tell you which books made it to chapter 2. So here we go. Up on your screen, The Book of Lost Names by Kristen Harmel. I love Kristen. I've interviewed her for The Room of Rue Amelie. This book is 400 pages. Did I make it? Yeah, I did. I read all 400 pages and I loved it so much. It was amazing. You know, I don't know if you guys think this way. When you get to historical fiction, especially World War II, I think it's got to have a good story. If it doesn't have a good story, I can't do another one. But this one, what I love about Kristen's books are romance. I loved these two main characters. We had Eva, who had two timelines. 1942 she starts off, and then 2005. And then her love interest is Remy. You are going to love them. And that's what I love about Kristen's books, is she knows how to write romance. And so I'm in. I'm all in. Read the first chapter and I was like, yes, I can't wait to read this book. It flew by. 400 pages were nothing, and I usually don't like anything over 350 for historical fiction, but this one was amazing. Let me tell you about the story. I'm just going to give you a smidge. I'm going on and on about the romance, but really what these two did was that they forged documents for children. They lived in Paris. They needed to get the children out, the children that were orphaned. I loved the story. It was one I never heard before. You are going to just fall in love with it. On to book 2. He Started It by Samantha Downing. Up on your screen is the cover. Did I make it through these 400 pages? Yes, I did. She got me. I knew that was going to happen though, because I read My Lovely Wife. I also interviewed her, and My Lovely Wife was her debut novel. And I didn't know what it was going to be. I had this interview scheduled with her. I read it and I was like, wow, that was a debut novel? That is insane. And I told her that over and over again. But this one, I got this book from my daughter-in-law and my son, because I knew that I needed to talk about it with somebody. I knew I was going to need to talk about it while I'm reading it. So I texted them both last night and I'm like, I finished it. And my son called me this morning and he was like, can you believe the ending? And I'm like, no, I cannot believe the ending. I can't believe how it ended. It was so good. Samantha is such a gifted writer, and a thriller over 350 pages. Again, like another 400-page book that just flew by. I can't even tell you the last time that I read a thriller that was 400 pages that read like I read 250 pages. And my son said the same thing. He's like, I couldn't turn the pages fast enough. Samantha, if you are watching this, like, I give you a standing ovation, girl. It was amazing. So let's talk about the book, the only book that I did not finish this week. Up on your screen, Too Much and Never Enough by Mary L. Trump. I heard people who've read this book and they were like, read the book, read it, you'll love it. I couldn't get to chapter 2. I couldn't even finish all of chapter 1. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to put it up on your screen and read this to you at the same time that you are seeing it. Right when I read this sentence, I closed the book. I'm like, no, I'm not reading this book. It's not happening. As much as I would love to hear, Mary is Donald's niece. As much as I'd love to hear dirt on Donald, but again, I don't really care that much. I just don't. I wish I cared more, but if it would have been good, I would have cared. But this is when I closed it. First of all, she goes on and on in the beginning of the book about they're in the Oval Office, they're getting family pictures taken. You can tell right away she's really sensitive about him and about the family. I don't know if she doesn't get along with them. I don't know what her deal is, but here we go. We spent a few more minutes in the Oval Office, taking turns sitting behind the Resolute desk. My brother took a picture of me, and when I looked at it later, I noticed my grandfather hovering behind me like a ghost. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. And you know what? I don't even know. Like, that's the sentence I closed it on. But let me just tell you, right before that part, she talks about the fact that Donald has a picture of his dad. So it's her grandfather, but not of his mom. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. You know what I know about him? Nothing personal, nothing. I've never read his books. I've never read any books about him. So I know really little about him. But the way she went about it, I was like, so who cares? I don't know. Maybe I was supposed to care. Maybe she's related to him on the dad's side. Maybe we were supposed to care in some way. But Mary, I did not care. And then I was like, I am not spending my time reading a book about your sensitivities. This was not a book about him but you know what? Changed my mind. Okay, leave me comments. Tell me I am wrong. I'm up for it. I want to hear why you finish. If you finished this book and you liked it, I want to hear that you did. And maybe I'll change my mind and maybe I'll put some time aside for it. But at the time, I have too many good books coming up to waste it on a book that I'm not that interested in. I finished 2 out of 3. That's not a bad week for me, all right? I read 800 pages this week. That's also not a bad week. I read 2 of my favorite authors, so I am so thrilled. I will put the Amazon and IndieBound links for those 2 books. And please let me know, did you read them? Did you have the same opinion I did? Did you love them? I mean, Samantha's book. I'm so happy that I read a historical fiction and a thriller. Like, what a week, right? It was absolutely perfect. Thank you for watching, everyone. Please hit like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I have videos coming out all the time. Thank you for watching. Until my next video.